Hello and welcome along to part... Do you know, I can't even remember the part we're at now. 13 of this Dark Souls guide and playthrough. And today we're going to be doing quite a lot of things. First thing for you to do is to restore your humanity. You need to do that because there's an NPC that we want to meet. And in order to meet that NPC you need to restore your humanity. So ensure that you do that first of all, and don't leave it until later on, do it now. Prepare your weapons, get all your stuff prepared. If you've got low stamina, if you've not been putting points into stamina, get a green blossom on your bar, because you might need it. Come down here first. Item to pick up. Dragon scale, so it's an upgrade item. It can also be used to increase your rank in the Dragon Covenant. Dragon weapons are weapons like the Dragon King Great Axe. In the last fight, or the fight a couple of episodes ago with the Gaping Dragon, there was a chance to remove his tail to get the weapon, tail weapon, which is the Dragon King Great Axe. And that's the kind of weapon that you can use, upgrade with the dragon scales. I'm just thinking to myself here how I want to do this. First of all, come out here and kill this guy. And you don't have to go very far to get this NPC to appear, as long as you're in human form. Even just coming out from the bonfire just here is enough to, there we go, to get her to invade. So this is a black phantom enemy. These mosquitoes are so annoying. Now this is a problem, you don't want to fight her out here with these mosquitoes, so you want to take her back into the tunnel. This is Man-Eater Mildred. And the reason you want to fight her just now is because if you take her on in black phantom form and kill her, you get her, you can summon her for the boss fight if you need help. So I don't even get to do my riposte there because these stupid mosquitoes. So I decide to take the fight back up into this kind of chamber. The mosquitoes won't follow me up here, but I'm still kind of wary that they're going to pop through that hole in the gate. She's got no poise, so you can stagger her quite easily. She's not particularly difficult. She's wielding the butcher's knife, and she has the crappy plank shield. So you get 8,748 souls, a decent amount, 3 humanities, and the butcher knife. And the butcher knife, like any of these weapons that are involved in, yeah, I think there's something to do with a theme that runs through. If you've got a weapon that kills humans or something, it's going to have an ability to restore health points, and that's the same with the butcher knife. It's 5 health points per hit. Just go back to hollow form here. We're just going to fast forward. But yeah, the butcher's knife, it's not an amazing weapon. It's got good dead angle for PvP. It's got good reach for a great axe or an axe or whatever it is. It can hit walls quite easily. I remember reading something about that sometimes it clips through walls and takes enemies out, other times it can bounce off walls and be annoying. But it can be quite useful in the swamp because you're always losing health in the swamp through being poisoned or mosquitoes and whatnot. And you know, if it restores, you know, your health with every hit, every time you connect with an enemy, even if you hit their shield, I believe, it restores some health. So yeah. Anyway, what you want to do now is you want to just follow the path that I'm going on. So you want to come out from the tunnel and go right. Take these guys out first. Don't worry about being poisoned. It's just part of the course in the swamp. Remember you're going to use your purple moss clumps to get rid of the poison modifier, but you don't need to. You just wander around. You've got plenty of Estus flask, and you can go back to the bonfire if you need more. So what to do is come round here and we're going to encounter a new enemy. These are the infested barbarians that throw boulders at you. Yep, big rocks. The biggest problem with this part here is these annoying mosquitoes. These boulder throwing barbarians, they roll it as well, but yeah, these guys susceptible to all the same things with other barbarians, which is like fire, bleed, backstab. They're so slow as well. I mean, I thought he did me a favour there and took that guy out, but nope. Yeah, definitely the mosquitoes are one of the most annoying enemies in this game, and the fact that they infinitely respawn is just icing on the cake for how frustrating they are. That animation, the angle that your spear goes into his ass is just perfect. It's right in the anus. There's another one round here, but you want to come round here to pick up a weapon. They've got a lot of iframes with these guys, and invincibility frames. Same with the Black Knights as well. It's really annoying. But yeah, they're easy peasy. Get the pickaxe. Not a big fan of that weapon, but I know some people are. So happy that I got the Great Club. These three guys, these three infested barbarians, ignore them. It's unnecessary to go and engage them and fight at any point in the swamp. There's no reason why you should be fighting them at any point. Great Club, I prefer it over the large club. I love the leaping attack, the jumping attack. I think it's one of the best weapons in the game. You need 32 strength to wield it one-handed, and I like to use it in one hand just as much as I like to use it in two hands, so we won't be using it just at the moment because we've not got quite that much much strength. So what we're going to do now is we're just basically going to take a wee tour around the perimeter of the swamp. This is one of the best places to farm large titanite shards, the Great Swamp. In fact, it's the best place in the game to farm green shards and large shards. And there's an enemy that drops them, it's the large slugs or giant leeches or whatever they're called. This is an important item, Pyromancy Poison Mist. We also pick up the Pyromancer set, the tattered armour set. I like it, I like the Pyromancer's starting armour. It's got good resistance to poison, as you would expect, being that they're from the Great Swamp, and fire. Yeah, but the Pyromancy Poison Mist sorcery is essential for an encounter later on in the game, so make sure you come around there to get that. So yeah, the enemy that drops the large titanite shards and the green shards is these giant leeches. Not difficult enemies. More like not annoying either really, just nothing special. If you've got an upgraded bow, you can take them out in new game with like one hit. We don't. I think we've only got a +1 bow at this point. What you want to do is you want to drag, one over at a time maybe, and kill him. Especially if you've not got the rusted iron ring. There we go. We get a shard, so that's good. Shards and ember are for large shards, or for upgrading +6 to +10 for along the normal path. I'm not sure if the stuff they spew out their mouth does durability damage. I don't think it does. This area around here is basically where you're going to do all of your farming, and you want to make sure that you've got like at least 9 or 10 soft humanity. We've got 9, as you can see from the counter at the left. You can also use other items like the covetous gold ring, which will increase your thingy by 200 points, your item find. You can also use the symbol of avarice, which is an item you pick up later in the game to increase the amount of souls that you pick up here, as well as your item find. But the maximum I think is 410 with all these different items and 10 humanity. Anyway, I'm not going to bother killing all these on camera. I do go around and kill them all to try and get as many large shards as possible, but I'll leave you to do it on your own. What to do is just clear out the room, pick up all the items that are in the room, or the area, and I'll come back to you in a minute and fast forward in a wee second. Okay, so pick up the server, that's the other side of the area that we just entered. And hopefully you'll have picked up quite a lot of shards at this point, even if it's green shards. Green shards can be converted, one green shard can be converted to 5 normal titanite shards. Not 5 large titanite shards, just the normal shards that you buy from Andre for like 800 souls. So green shards are worth something as well. Remember, green shards are for upgrading items along the fire, chaos, is it chaos? Yeah. Fire, magic, divine, not chaos, sorry. So Andre does the divine, Rickard, the guy that's at the ruins of New Londo, does magic, and Vamos, who's another blacksmith we'll encounter later, does fire weapons. But you'll definitely pick up plenty of upgrade items for you to get most of your weapons up to, at least you'll be able to at least get 2 or 3 weapons and some at least 1 armor set by the time that you've got most of the way through the game. And if you come down here often to farm, you can basically upgrade as much stuff as you want. There's a couple of more slugs or leeches around here, don't forget these guys. There's an item over here, I think it's a soul item. No, it's a shard. So like I say, you can swap that with an NPC for 5 normal titanite shards. Once you've finished doing all that, come up here, come up this branch of the tree. This is actually the path to a new area. It doesn't look like it looks like you can't go any further. But you know that there's illusory walls in this game. And there's another one. So, yep, another illusory wall behind there. So keep going. Every time you come down this pathway, you always, this is a Great Hollow, talk about it in a minute, you always hear the soul noise when you've killed somebody. It'll come up in a minute. You've got 100 souls. 400 souls. It always happens, don't know what enemies killed himself. Light this bonfire. You want to make sure you've got 10 humanity here. And this is another area where you do most of your farming. There's about 10 crystal lizards in this area. And yeah. So what we're going to do is, we're going to do some farming here. You don't have to come to this area is totally optional for all of the game. The main quest doesn't require you to come to this area whatsoever, but any player that wants to upgrade their items should come here. You can also get access to an area called Ash Lake from the Great Hollow. You need to go all the way down to the bottom. Anyway, what you want to do is, the first area that we're going to go to, you're going to roll off here. Don't worry, you'll survive. Or not. Yeah, I thought I'd just keep that in. So don't do what I just did, and kill yourself in a foolish manner, straight off the bat. Just be careful when you roll off here, but this is what you want to do. You want to roll off. You'll take a wee bit of damage, you can just top it up with some Estus. Come up here. We're going to go to the more difficult, see that wee inlet there? We're going to go to the more difficult part first. There's 2 main areas here where you do the farming, but we're going to go to the difficult part first. So be careful when you come onto this branch here, don't go to the left. If you go to the left, you'll get stuck in the wall, and it's really annoying. You have to use a homeward bone to get back to the bonfire. So come down here. There's usually a crystal lizard at the top there. There should be another 1 or 2 in here as well. And there's usually about 2 or 3 out here. So you want to kill them as quickly as possible, because remember what we said before, they burrow into another dimension and disappear. We get 2 twinkling titanites, and twinkles are for so quit and reload so that you can get all the lizards. Remember, that's how you get them to respawn. Twinkling titanites for upgrading items that you couldn't normally upgrade with normal shards like titanite, green titanite, blue, white, etc. and there's loads of stuff you can upgrade with twinkling titanite. So I'm just going to show you a couple more, but I'm not going to go through the whole thing. You know how to do this. All you do is quit and reload until you've got them. I think there's 5 in this wee passage here. Not in the passage and all together, in this wee section. So 2 out there and maybe 3 in here. I'll fast forward because yeah, it's pointless showing you every single one, because I'll have to quit and reload many times to get them. Okay, so once you've got them all, and I think I got most of them at this point, you use a homeward bone to go back to the bonfire. So make sure before you come to this area you've got homeward bones. You get them from an undead female merchant. You can buy them, you also pick them up at the beginning of the game. So come over here and roll down again. We'll go to the easier area this time. The Great Hollow can be a very frustrating area because there's so many ways to fall and die. And there's annoying enemies in this area. You've got the basilisks and you've got a mushroom enemy, you'll encounter them later. So there should be 2 crystal lizards in this area, one at the bottom, one at the top. Again, same thing, quit and reload, get your upgrade items, and then homeward bone back to the bonfire above. The interesting thing about this area is this is an arch tree, and you can actually see this arch tree. This area we're in just now, we're actually inside a tree. You can see this arch tree from Firelink Shrine, and I believe some people contend that this arch tree holds up Lordran. It actually is the foundation of the entire area, or the world. Anyway, there's some other items, important items in here. One of my favourite items is in this area. It's called the Chloranthry ring, and to get into it you have to flip over or roll over from a branch and get into the, there you go, there's the item in the tree there, you can see it in the hollow of the tree. So what you want to do is you want to come back the way you came and get high enough so that you roll over the opening and fall into the hollow of the tree. You'll see how I do it in a second. The Chloranthry ring is basically increases your stamina regen. It's one of my favourite rings because, like I said, I've said it many times before, anything that increases your stamina regen makes you necessarily more offensive or defensive depending on your playstyle, because the more stamina you have to play with, the more hits you can get in. So, what else? Yeah, you want to just work your way around this area. I wouldn't recommend at this point going all the way down. We're going to come back here at some point. I just want to pick up a few wee items before we leave. There's basically like 3 levels to this area. There's this area, this level here, which is like the kind of top level. Then you've got the middle, which is kind of encased with a web. It's surrounded by some kind of web structure, and you'll encounter a lot of these basilisks, like these guys. It's not. I kept calling it smoke when we were in the depths. It's not smoke. It's vapor. It's a poisonous vapor. And remember, these guys cause curse, and curse is one of the most painful inflictions that you can encounter in the game. If you're cursed, you instantly die. Your health points are halved in 2, and dying doesn't reset that status. You need purging stones, or you need to go and seek out an NPC called Ingward, and he's in the New Londo ruins. Just make sure you don't get cursed. There's loads of ways that you can prevent it, and just being careful is basically the best strategy. Anyway, you feel like a rich man once you've left this area. You feel like, you know, you've won the lottery because you're just overflowing with upgrade items. And I've seen some people who have really won the lottery. They get like titanite slab drops, and titanite slabs are the highest upgrade item along the normal path. And I've seen people pick up 2 from 1 crystal lizard. Crazy. Red titanite, that's for fire plus 9 to plus 9. So green titanite for fire weapons to plus 5, and red to plus 9. And you need to see Vamos, who's a blacksmith in the depths of catacombs, but we'll encounter him later, or catacombs, however you want to pronounce it. Oh yeah, that's right, they also upgrade chaos weapons. You can see that there's another crystal lizard down there. I'm speaking so fast and trying to get so much out that I'm stuttering now and slipping in words. But yeah, slow down. There's a crystal lizard down there. Want to pick him, get him. He's one of the most difficult crystal lizards to get. I usually always have trouble getting him. There's 2 crystal lizards in this wee section here, and I always never get the one that we just missed there. I always get this one. And no matter how many times I load and reload, I can never get the other guy. White shards or chunks are for divine and occult weapons. Divine weapons do increased damage against black knights and gods. So some of the bosses in the game. In fact, divine weapons do additional damage against the very last boss in this game, the last enemy. I'm just going to spoil it if you don't want to know. Mute just now. The last boss is Lord Gwyn, and yeah, you can do more damage against him by upgrading an item along the divine path. I hope I've got that right and it's not the occult path, but I'm sure it is. Yeah, you can see that this area is befuddled, or it's plagued by areas where the physics or the clipping or whatever you want to call it is problematic, and you can fall off or just not get past certain areas. Anyway, at this point I felt like we'd picked up enough items. What you're going to do is you can sit here and upgrade your items if you've got the smithing boxes. But what we are going to do is we are going to go back to the bonfire in the Great Swamp. So that's the one, you know, the one where we fought Man-Eater Mildred, the one that we started off of, started at in this episode of the playthrough. So go back there. I'm not going to show you me going all the way back there. You know how to get back there. And I'll see you there. Okay, so we're back here, and we're immediately just going to go to the second part. There's 3 parts of this area that I like to deal with. The first part we've dealt with now. Second part is up and to the right. Before we went right and then left. We're going to go right and then right again this time. And that takes you to an important area in the game. It's also the connection to Firelink Shrine. It's also the way to get back to Firelink Shrine. So come up here. You're going to encounter a lot of like pulleys and ramps, and not ramps, yeah, there are a couple of ramps I suppose, but it's like a lift system, an escalator system of sorts. Make sure you've got all your, make sure you've got blooming purple moss clump on your bar here. Change your rings at this point, you don't need the rusted iron ring. I like to have the ring of sacrifice on here sometimes because there's so many times I've fallen here and died. It's quite annoying. So you want to come over to the edge here and make your way onto the plank. You'll eventually get to the first level you come to is the level you want to get off at. You don't want to stay on this crazed contraption. The thing that actually provides propulsion or the energy to turn these wheels is actually these flame dogs. I tried to see if I can see one, but I can't see it from this angle. But yeah, there's a dog under there. It's like a dog running on a wheel, a hamster. So there's lots of climbing involved in this section. And yeah, you've got these annoying mosquitoes again. You can actually, I believe, use the slumbering dragon crest ring to hide your footsteps. You can see that there's a tree branch that goes across there. I'm not going to go across there. It's one of the most annoying areas of the game. Not in the sense that there's difficult enemies or mosquitoes or anything like that. It's just annoying that you can't come back the way. The tree seems to be like a problem area in terms of physics and your character not hitting invisible walls. Just ignore that guy for just now, that sniper, just ignore him. There is an item over there that some people like to get. It's over the tree, over the branch. If you go across here you'll pick up the Crimson Armour set. That's the set used by the Sealers of New Londo. And this wee section of the game is actually heavily associated with that particular storyline regarding New Londo. If you're not familiar with it, and if you're a new player you won't be. Basically you had these sealers who acted as guardians to keep the evil in. So there you go, we pick up the key to the New Londo ruins, another connection. The crimson ropes are worn by these 3 sealers. That's the way to Firelink Shrine. Don't go along that way because we've still got work to do here. So yeah, Firelink Shrine, New Londo ruins, we've been down there, that's where the ghosts were. There was 3 individuals. One of them's the NPC called Ingward, the one I talked about that can cure you of curse. And there was 2 others. One of these, or there might have been 3 others. There might be 4 in total or 3 in total, it's not relevant. What's relevant is that one of them came to this area. They came to Blighttown because at one point Blighttown was like a thriving area or community, and you had all the slurry coming down from the depths, and basically it poisoned the water supply, and it was causing the residents to have like diphtheria and typhoid and all these illnesses associated with bad water and poor sanitation. And so this person gave up the responsibility to New Londo ruins and came here, and that's why you can find our ropes here apparently, and the key to New Londo ruins. Anyway, I was getting my ass handed to me here by these mosquitoes, so I just gave up. This is a tricky area. There's a lot of these snipers around here, so make sure you're using your spider shield. If you're not using your spider shield, you're probably going to get annihilated. Just keep it up, that's the key thing here, keep your spider shield up. Use a defensive weapon like the halberd. Don't go down there, whatever you do. These dogs will stun lock you to death with their fire, and yeah, this is a really tricky area if you get if you're not prepared or you find yourself in the wrong area. I'm toxic now, so I want to get my blooming purple moss in as soon as possible. Eventually the other sniper will forget about me, but these bloody mosquitoes won't. There's actually a ring you can pick up later in the game that makes dealing with these mosquitoes a lot easier. It's called the Ring of Fog. You can actually trade an item with Snuggly the Crow for it. What is the item again? Can't remember. Check the wiki if you want to do that before you come here. Yeah, take these guys out with arrows. What you're going to want to do is, I would definitely not recommend going down there with the dogs. I've been killed down there many times. The way I like to take them out, even though it's time consuming, is to kind of circle around this kind of second floor level and use my arrows to take as many of them out as possible. So it took me about 5 or 10 minutes to do that here, so I'll just fast forward in a second. But yeah, take them as many out as you can. Okay, so I've basically taken as many out at this point. I'm going to go around and deal with the last sniper. He's round here. Be careful, and make sure you get rid of that crockery. Okay, so we got some good items from him. I forgot, my fault, I forgot to go and pick up the soul item over there. Get a plunging attack off on these dogs. The item here is more important than the one up there. We get a Firekeeper soul, so don't forget to pick that up, that is obviously very important. I was just checking here to see what shield provides the best fire resistance. Because there's still 1 or 2 of these dogs out here, and that just shows you how frightened I am of them. There's only 2, but I'm still worried about them. Okay, so what we're going to do now is that's us taking care of everything in this section. That's the second section of the swamp, and I'm going to fast forward, but basically use a homeward bone. You need to use a homeward bone to get back. You don't need to, but I'd recommend that you just use one. It's the quickest way. I'm going to change weapons because obviously that strategy of trying to take him out with the halberd's not working. I'll go back to my reinforced club, and once I use the homeward bone to go back to the bonfire, you'll notice that I'm already in different. I've got a different armour set on, and you'll notice I've got no souls and no humanity, and the reason for that is because I actually proceeded with taking on the last section of the game and died. So when we skip to the next part, we'll just go straight to the next area, and we'll pick up my souls where I lost them. Okay, so you can see I've got the pyromancer set on because it provides the highest resistance to flame, and I've also got the gargoyle helm on because it does the same thing. Sorry for these blackouts, I'm not sure what caused that. If you're a pyromancer, there's an NPC on the other side of that big thing to the left, the big foundation. Yeah, sometimes it can be quite tricky to get her to appear. Her name's Quelaag, so if you want to know how to engage with her, I would suggest looking up the wiki. It's something to do with upgrading the pyromancy glove, and I think there might be another way to take her on, to bring her out. Anyway, this is Quelaag's domain, so this is the area boss for the Blighttown in the swamp. So come up here. There's no point, like I said before, taking any of these. Don't take these guys out, and don't take the infested barbarians out. As soon as we come in here, Quelaag will already be active because we've already taken her on once. Make sure you've got your bar set up. You want to have gold pine resin on your bar, and blossoms as well if you want more stamina. Quelaag is annoying rather than difficult. I died to her twice before this attempt, and the reason I died to her was because the first time I got trapped against a wall, and she does an area of an effect attack, it causes massive fire damage. And like I say, I get trapped between the wall and it killed me. There you go, that's the area of effect attack. Make sure you get out of the way of that because it can one-shot you, more or less, at this level. You don't want to lock onto her, you just want to kind of let the gaping dragon, you want to bide your time and get your hits in one at a time, two at a time maybe, and then kind of get away from her. She's susceptible, like I say, to gold pine resin lightning damage. You want to stay to her left, your right, so I keep going to her right, you see, or her left, sorry, my right, and that's what you want to do as well. You don't want to go in front of her, or be in front of her, and obviously you don't want to walk through the lava. The good thing is the room's so big that you can just move around as much as possible. The second reason, the second death was because, again, it was the area of effect attack with the fire damage, and I actually got caught between the spider's legs and I just couldn't get away in time. So be careful of that as well. Use the full room, keep running. You know, you're not confined to a small part of the room. The lava usually tends to kind of disappear after about 10-15 seconds, something like that. Just get this jump attack as well, but it doesn't do any damage really. I prefer, like I said in the Gaping Dragon video, I prefer to use gold pine resin towards the end of a fight. That's an unusual attack, where it shakes its tail or its ass and creates fire. So just be wary of that one. Quelaag, you can actually stun Quelaag. So Quelaag's the human on top of the spider. She's actually the daughter of the Witch of Izalith. One of the daughters of the Witch of Izalith. Quelaag is actually her sister, the NPC I talked about a minute ago. She's got a brother as well, who we'll meet soon. He's kind of slow-witted and a bit dumb. Yeah, you can stagger Quelaag. You can stagger Quelaag using a bow and arrow, and you just keep shooting at her head. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend it, it's not necessary. And even if you die to Quelaag, it doesn't matter. I mean, it's simple enough to get back here. I believe some new players are recommended to use Flash Sweat, which is a pyromancy you can get from Laurentius of the Great Swamp, the guy that we saved in the depths. Remember, he was going to be eaten by the female butchers. Well, that guy, when he goes back to Firelink Shrine, sells Flash Sweat, which basically coats you in water and increases your fire defense. 2 shields, you can get Dragon Crest Shield and Black Knight Shield, and they'll increase your fire defense, but they're unnecessary. Maybe in New Game Plus you could use them. But. So, gold pine resin, taking off a lot more now, and we get the killing. Solar Quelaag, you can use that to make a weapon. You can use it for souls, or you can use it to trade with an NPC, twin humanities, and 20 odd thousand souls. But more importantly, we've got something to do. It was Oscar gave us the mission to go on, ring the bells of awakening. I've actually seen a player, his name's Biznap, he's got a channel on here and he made a playthrough, and I actually seen that guy walk past this bell. Make sure you don't do what Biznap did. It's easy to do though. I mean, if you're a new player, you know, you might miss this. But I remember screaming at the video. So that's Sen's Fortress opening up. So excellent, we've fulfilled the mission, or we've fulfilled the legend. We've escaped from an undead asylum. We've managed to work our way past all these Taurus demons and Capra demons and whatnot, and we've run both bells of awakening, one in the tower and one down here. So I wonder what will happen after we do that. There's an illusory wall behind here. I can't stress the importance of, if you're a new player, to come and do this. Ensure that you do this. We'll meet an NPC, a character called the Fair Lady. She's the sister of Quelaag.
Oh dear, what have we here?
This isn't her.
Are you a new servant?
Say yes to this.
But you have no eggs. No matter. Go along and have audience with our fair lady.
You remember
You will mind your manners.
we met Kirk. We took on Kirk, Dark Knight Kirk in the depths, and he was on a mission to find humanity. Well, this is our the Fair Lady. She's been... oh yeah, make sure you sit at that bonfire. I make a terrible mistake here. I don't sit at the bonfire. For the love of Pete, make sure that you sit at that bonfire, because if you don't, later on it's going to cause a serious inconvenience to you in the game. She can't communicate with you. You need the Witch's Ring, and the Witch's Ring is one of the items that you can choose as your starting class item. We picked the Master Key. I would recommend it. Basically, if you pick the Witch's Ring, you can communicate with her, and basically she just says, ask you if you're Quelaag, but you're not. You've just killed her sister, and basically all her sister was doing was trying to protect her from you. She needs humanity to get better. Her mum, the Witch of Izalith, once tried to clone the First Flame. I think I talked about that in the previous video, and in doing so she spawned all these demons and she caused problems for her own children.
Prepared to dedicate yourself to our fair lady? Then I will make available whatever you require. If you need something.
So ensure you set that bonfire. Most important item in here. You can join her Chaos Covenant, but I wouldn't recommend it. If you do, you have to feed her humanity, and I think it's something like 30 humanity you give her. She gets better, and you, in return, you get a shortcut to an area of the game later on. It's totally not worth it. I wouldn't recommend it. We'll actually go back and kill her at some point, because she's got a Firekeeper's soul, and I want to upgrade it as much as possible. Use her to upgrade your Firekeeper's soul that you got from the swamp, the one we picked up just a few minutes ago. Anyway, I hope this video has been helpful for you, and I'll see you in the next one. Upgrade your items, upgrade your character. Got loads more to do in the next episodes.